Let's get right to our panel. Anna Marie Cox is a correspondent with The Guardian, and Jonathan Capehart is an opinion writer for The Post, The Washington Post, and an MSNBC contributor. Good day to both of you.
Hi, Martin.
Jonathan, Mitt Romney has a box office problem on his hands. In about 2 weeks, the new Batman movie will be released, as you know, the blockbuster of the summer, and the world will learn the enemy of freedom goes by the name Bain. Now, it's a different spelling than his old private equity firm, but talk about bad timing.
Well, bad timing orally, if you will. But, you know, as we learned over the weekend, all those Bain attacks, B-A-I-N attacks from President Obama and Vice President Biden and the re-election effort, the attacks that other Democrats were saying were uncalled for, the president shouldn't do this, the administration, or I should say the re-election effort, was going down the wrong path. Turns out that in battleground states, those attacks are actually working. They're showing some benefit.
Anna Marie, shouldn't Mitt Romney shoulder the entire burden for elevating his experience in private equity as the sole qualification for why he should be president? He must have known that private equity, already part of a deeply corroded financial services industry following 2007, was never about job creation. It was solely about making money. He's to blame, isn't he?
Well, he did sort of back himself into a corner when he kind of just offloaded, as it were, like all of his Massachusetts experience. And when he kind of said, like, oh, yeah, everything I did in Massachusetts, all those compromises, all that working with Democrats, health care, that doesn't count. And he had to focus on nothing but his Bain experience and I guess the Olympics. But that's a very slim argument to make. But yeah, like, he is the one who created this problem for himself. And I have to say about the Batman movie, I think maybe let's consider it lucky for the Batman movie more than unlucky for Romney, because that word already going into it, people are going to have bad associations.
Fair enough. Thank you for that clarity. John, we've just got some news for the Romney campaign. We're hearing that he's confirmed that the candidate will visit Israel later this summer. The exact dates are unclear, but could come after a visit to the Olympics. Now, John, he's been quite critical of the president on Israel. Any surprise about this visit, John?
No surprise at all. One, Mitt Romney has to make a trip overseas while a candidate to show himself as a potential leader of the free world, as a potential president of the United States. Barack Obama did the same thing when he was running in 2008. So that's not surprising at all.
And but why not go to France or Greece or England or Ireland where the economic crisis is being
Germany
played out?
in the same way that then Senator Barack Obama did when he ran in 2008. Yeah, I mean, with Mitt Romney going to Israel, of course, he's trying to play to those Jewish voters who are upset with the president because of his stance on Palestinian-Israeli peace efforts, Jewish voters who think the president isn't supportive of the state of Israel enough, and this will give Mitt Romney an opportunity to highlight those differences. But you know, the president has a perfectly fine record on Israel. Has been a perfectly fine record on that, and I don't think that's anything that the president has to worry about.
Indeed. Anna Marie, Rupert Murdoch lit up Twitter again, saying this about Mitt Romney's campaign, quote, "Met Romney last week. Tough Chicago pros will be hard to beat unless he drops old friends from team and hires some real pros. Doubtful." That's pretty rough by Mr. Murdoch, isn't it?
It is, but I have to admire the way he really speaks Twitter language. You know, he is, and he's not, you know, unentertaining in the way that he lets these things go into the Twitter sphere, and he's certainly attracted a lot of attention. I think that we might have an example of someone accidentally speaking the truth here. I mean, Rupert Murdoch, he plays politics to a certain extent, but you know what? He doesn't care. He doesn't really care one way or another about what people think of him, and I think he's probably one of the few people that can give Romney, you know, sort of unbiased advice, and clearly we know what that advice would be. And I don't think he's wrong. You know, Romney does have a lot of people around him who've been with him for a while, and the campaign has not been the most skillful. They've definitely made some mistakes.
Well, look at Eric Fernstrom earlier today with
right.
Chuck Todd.
Right, exactly. That's what I was thinking. You know, all these people are perfectly, they're skilled operatives, but they have been with Romney for a long time. And sometimes if you're with somebody for a long time, you can you grow a little bit blind to what their faults are. And I have to say also, they're probably some of the few people in the world who see Mitt's human side. So maybe they have a hard time understanding why everyone else doesn't see it, and therefore have a hard time kind of making him seem more human to the rest of us.
Right, but John, Murdoch tweeted a follow-up to that one, and he says, and I'm quoting Murdoch, "Romney people upset at me, exclamation mark. Of course I want him to win. Save us from socialism, etc., but should listen to good advice and get stuck in." What is etc.?
It must be those talking points that the right wing loves to use so much when describing President Obama, his administration, his policies. You know, death panels, blah, 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 whatever Sarah Palin says on any given day. I think that's what he's probably referring to. Of course, Rupert Murdoch would love to see Mitt Romney win, would love to have Barack Obama out of the White House. And if that means tagging on to the whole socialism, the president is a socialist bandwagon, so be it, I think, from his perspective.
But, John, why would that suit Rupert Murdoch? What has this president done that would offend Rupert Murdoch?
Maybe he's a Democrat. You know, do I need to go beyond that?
That's enough,
Martin, etc.
etc. Thank you very much, Anna Marie Cox, and a very happy birthday to Mr. Capehart, who is, of course, I believe, 25 today. Congratulations, John.